Welcome. I'm your host, Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Hypno Acuity, presenting the unacknowledged communication barriers between college educated and the skilled craftsmen of the world are the hourly workers. Something I've noticed over the last few years is people think because they got that college degree, they own a business, they're better than the skilled craftsmen and the hands in the workforce. You may have more education, but that you may be smarter, but are you wiser? And this is my favorite two questions I ask the world. If all the business management, the politicians, the business coaches, and everybody in the management go home for 30 days, would the world still function? Yes, there'd be major chaos, but the world would still carry on. But if all the hourly workers go home, the truck drivers, the electricians, the plumbers, the carpenters, the nurses, um, the grocery store clerks, and all the hourly workers go home for 30 days, what do you have? The world is shut down. See, it was something we've never been open to understanding. We're never all going to have the same education level. We're never going to have this, but there's always communication. And what I've noticed, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I retired and I started doing hypnotherapy and stuff full time. And what I really discovered is you got to, when you start talking to coaches and business people, you got a very small box in which you can communicate with them. Because anything outside of the communication, the books and the computers, they have very little. Their communication skills are very low. And if you come from like the people that work in the field, like electrician, we talk the wisdom of the physical because we have to put mechanical stuff in the world, but really it's all formed in a intuitive, innovative manner because you'll say, put this pipe in this cabinet, run it over to that cabinet, might be 500 foot away. See, there's a lot of wisdom and insight goes into running pipe, and carpenters got this. See, the thing is, books are what everybody else wants you to know. And just because you're in management, and I'm going to say this, management today is inexperienced ineptness because it comes out of college, comes out of the computer, then you throw it out in the physical world where you have stuff and they're lost, but yet they've come on with the arrogance that I know because I'm educated. I got that slip of paper. And, that slip of paper is nothing but something that hangs on the wall. And that's something I noticed when I first got into the oil field and then into the electrical world. We used to be able to talk to engineers and they could talk to us on our level. Now it's I got to go to the computer. And since we went to the BIM models, jobs are harder and take longer. And they want to blame the worker. And there's something else that management when a company is having trouble, it's automatically the worker's fault. That's an old ancestor way of life. Here's the thing. The people that are getting blamed for that company having challenges never made one decision or made one choice on what the company wanted. And I'll tell you, witnessing this from where I did, there are some very shallow people running work. And what I really like is when a company starts setting up and they start making foremen, lead men, bosses, it's never the person that'll tell them what is going on. It's always somebody that'll tell them what they want to hear. And that's the trouble with this world today. People tell everybody what they want to hear. And when you tell the world what it's going to take to expand it out of the third world mindset it's in and the egotistical arrogance and know-it-all ignorance we're stuck in, people don't want to hear it. And, being a hypnotherapist, and I got a different way. And something I wrote today was called Firebrand Troublemaker. Troublemakers have expanded the world out of the tyranny of tyrants all the life. But if you live outside and you start speaking outside the boundaries of the school system or the political system, people look at you funny. You're a troublemaker. Just so everybody remembers, troublemakers got our liberation from England to start the United States. And see, the thing about a troublemaker, they're going to tell you what the truth is and how the cow eats the cabbage. You may not like it, but if you listen to them, sometimes you'll expand out of it. The difference between that degree and my journeyman's license is I got my journeyman's license on the go, and you went to a book, and then you're trying to bring that book knowledge into a world where book knowledge does not work in the physical world. And it's fun to watch, though. They try to put it in there, and what gets me is when they walk through there with their nose in the air because their feet stink. Because they think because they got that degree and they sit in the office, all that means is usually they're either educated and no experience, or they know somebody in the office. What I witnessed the last 15 years as an electrician, it was pretty disgusting in a lot of ways. It was good, but everybody thinks I got this education. Oh, they're educated. They really know what's going on. They know what's going on inside the computer, inside the BIM, but in the physical world, where we put in our pipe and stuff, there was beams, there was air conditioning ducts, heating ducts. There was all kinds of barriers that you had to go around. And the thing is they'd never get it all right. They'd never have everything in the BIM that was required. I took more stuff out in the last 10 years than I did my first 20 years. What I'm saying is just because you got that degree and you got all the computer stuff in the physical world never match. But the people that can physically install stuff, there's a wisdom there that nobody understands. And see, that's the thing about the craftsmen and the skilled workers. They deal from a wisdom, experience, and wisdom. People that have books deal from the snookery of the books, and they're hooked in the snookery of the books. Books and knowledge will only take you so far. The experience to attain the wisdom will take you to the promised land. And that is something I've witnessed in my life. And, for me, since I got into the hypnotherapy and I started dealing with them, but as long as you stay inside the boundaries of education and mostly self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, set goals, it never liberates you from the past. You got to heal the past. Well, you heal the past, you never liberate the now. And most of what I experienced in the self-help, personal growth, self-improvement world is just an extension of college education and corporate business. So, but I do Cowboy Wisdom Hypno-Acute. It's about liberation, wisdom, inspiration, sovereign expansion, politically incorrect inspiration. This world is too perfection programmed to rise out of the situations we're in. We're never going to go anywhere until we get kind of like in the pioneering days, like coming across from St. Louis to the West Coast. You had to have some ingenuity to get across the Rockies and the Blues and all the mountain passes. Do you think there'd be people on the West Coast today if we had to use the knowledge and the work ethic of people today? See, we're so conveniently trained in convenience that we're afraid ourselves. And, there's nothing wrong with convenience. And to all the kids that are making money off the internet, good for you. There's no law says you have to get your hands dirty and you have to do this. But one thing about putting your hands in the dirt, it grounds you to Mother Earth. And with all this AI coming out, it's going to keep taking the innovation away from the people slowly. You got to trust your own intuition, innovation, imagination, images of your dreams to move forward. And something I really noticed since I got into all this marketing, you cannot talk to somebody. If there's a coach or somebody talking to you and you try talking to them, they cannot talk outside of their programming and coaching. And that's something Cowboy Wisdom Hypno Q. Mine's about liberation and inspiration. It's about you being able to communicate with yourself to communicate with the world. And there is zero communication. And we kind of do it in a chicken shit way, if you ask me. If I don't like you, I'm going to send you an email. If I want to do something, I'll send it in an email. When I grew up, it had to be face to face. And I kind of, when you do it face to face, there's never a disgrace. If you send a guy an email saying they're a bunch of low life so-so, that's chicken crapper way. And see, we've lost the ability to communicate. And the biggest thing we've really lost is people are afraid to hear or listen to their own shortcomings. And there's one thing I like about people that'll tell me the truth. It shows me a pathway forward and upward. If you're afraid to hear your insecurities, you're afraid to move. But college education is egotistical arrogance. A friend of mine calls college education recycled ignorance. And as long as you stay inside that book, college education is good. Now, I'm saying nothing saying that getting a college education isn't good and getting that degree. But giving up all your communication skills to live inside that book, that is a disgrace to you. Something I've really opened up to is I love to communicate. There's a long time I didn't care if I talked to anybody. I like communicating with people. I want their wisdom. I don't want their knowledge. I want their wisdom. And that's something this world is long on knowledge, short on wisdom. And I watch the business and see the thing about business coaches and the working world ain't going to pay no attention to a business coach because they're coming from management's point of view. That's the thing about this world. The unions got weak, and then they got management that got greedy, and all they want is that paycheck and that retirement. I witnessed that in the IBEW. But the thing about it is a union concept where the worker had representation. Well, that passed away a long time ago. But the thing is they always say, my door is always open. It's not. It's really not. If you go in and tell somebody that you don't like one of their management people or their leads or somebody out there, you might as well pack your stuff because you're going in 2 weeks because they're going to lay you off anyway. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it is. If you're going to go in and raise hell, you might as well be ready to face the outcome. To me, I had no trouble getting a one-man layoff or getting fired if I thought I was right. Because in the last 5 years, the foremen in the union were pretty low-life people. And I don't care who listens to that. And the thing is, they don't put people in management positions anymore, or foremen or lead people that are going to stand up to them. They're going to put the person in that'll punish the worker. I witnessed that. And the thing is people think workers are a dime a dozen. But a good hand that understands what's going on, they're rare, especially today. And so that's where that invisible barrier comes. They got this degree and they think they're somebody special. And, something people don't really realize, business lives off the backs of taxpayers. And blue-collar people are all taxpayers. The thing is, the blue-collar people's kids go to war, fight the war, and then they come back and we're all disrespected. One thing college education has done to me is it's taken the integrity and the respect out of the world because I'm educated and that guy isn't, so it's about me. And that's not true. And the thing is that snapshot you take of somebody, that's your opinion, viewpoint, and belief of that person. And that's the way we live. But, just because somebody doesn't have a degree doesn't mean anything. They may have the wisdom to show you a better way. And what I really realized, the world when I first got into it, people that were in management, foreman, general foreman, they're pretty straightforward people and you could talk to them. Now they walk around like they're special. They are special, but not that way. And when you walk into a room or a building with an arrogant, with a snobbish aura, people pick up on that. And just like management, everybody in management has 60,000 thoughts and 85,000 emotions running through them every day. So do the people. So does the hands on the job. Here's the thing, nobody is going to be 100% on every job every day. If they're there 95%, that's good. But if they're going through a divorce or a kid sick or this, the emotions and the feelings are involved. And they do their best. But, but they also, some get it, that they do their best. And, that snobbish aura you put out puts the workforce against you. And it doesn't take a lot for people to dislike. I seen jobs where the general foreman was really a sorry son of a gun, and people put it up to him. And something I realized when I first got in the union in '91, we had a guy go off of a ramp and get his head crushed, and he was from Boston, Massachusetts. This is when this is back when the union was a union. And but here's the thing. They took him within 24 hours. They took up collections on the job. We had his wife in Everett, Washington, and set up an apartment within 24 hours after the accident. And every week we took up a collection for that family. And it doesn't happen so much anymore, but we forgot life is about people. You can be a CEO, but he's still a human. And there's one thing about it. Everybody can do one thing you can't, or what you're unable to do. Some people don't want to wear that suit to work every day. I didn't. I won't wear a tie because ties cut off common sense. But if you're there saying I'm the boss and I'm right, you're going to get bit in the butt. If you listen to the people that are physically doing the job, they're going to come up with a better way. My favorite is when management says, that's not in the plan. So they'll spend $5,000 when they could have spent $500. And see, that's the thing. Management's stubborn, the worker's stubborn, and all it takes is communication. This world can't communicate. We're afraid of communication. Relaxation, inspiration, communication. Stop telling people what to do. Stop being told what to do and listen. That's the biggest fears in the world. And the thing I like is when you talk to somebody. I talk to a lot of these people who've got different things, and because your education is your biggest limitation. And I told that to a lady, and she said, you want to tell that to management? And I says, I already have. If you're afraid to speak what you feel, you're living in the fear of somebody else. And this world is way too computerized and to move forward. We got to see what the computer model says. There isn't a manager in the world can flat out make a decision without going to the computer. And see, we can't communicate ideas. And, the thing is, when somebody gets injured on the job or something, it's a big deal. But here's what management don't understand. When you hit the backspace, you delete something or have to redo something, that's an injury or a lost time accident in the field. Management should have to keep track of their backspaces and their deletions and their redos and keep track of them just like a physical world. See, we think this physical world is exempt and computers are the way. But look at the world since we've become computerized. And that's the thing. Books teach you things. Experiences teaches you the way through life, is the wisdom to move through life. And books can teach you the mechanics of it. Life is going to teach you the innovation of it to move forward. When you can rise out of the books and listen, and that's a key, something I really discovered for myself. If I listen, I don't have so many troubles. But the thing is, I've watched the arrogance of management, and I used to get all cowed down to it. Now it's fun watching it. All you gotta do is ask management why you're talking down to us, and then they usually go away. Just because you got that long list of books and all them degrees, that means nothing. Because the physical world is going to show you a better way. Even though it may not be what you think it is, but it's going to show you a better way. And that's the thing. People that have them degrees think the people that don't have them lack something. The physical world is the guru of life. It's going to show you things and open up the wisdom, insight, and clarity because it's here. You got to use your hands. It ain't about thinking. It's about listening to your inner self to move forward. Everything we think and know in this world is secondhand information. But there is a barrier between the college education, the skilled workers. And the thing is, these guys think the skilled workers don't know. And the difference is the skilled workers understand you lack the wisdom to do it. See, college education ain't all that fine when you really break it down, because there's a fear. Egotistical arrogance is a fear. Know-it-all ignorance is being scared. Because everybody in this world understands one thing you don't and I don't. So the more there's 8.5 billion people in the world, if I can get 8.5 billion more nuggets of wisdom, I'm going to be a wise man. Books make you smarter. Life makes you wiser. And that is something you really have to open up to. But if you're having a communication problem with something and you think all the communication problems are yours internally. And I like to communicate, but if you say hi to people on the street, that scares the hell out of them. And then I've been to get on these seminars, and if you say something outside of the box of self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, I was on this one. I got off all of them because they didn't have the wisdom for me. They really didn't. Wisdom is never attached to the outcome. Everything you think and know is attached to everything. When you're in the attached world, you're in the back. You're in a bitch and bellyache about life. When you're unattached, you dance with the panache to win. And when I got off the last one I was on, I got on there and I was talking. This lady says, "What can we do for you?" And I said, "Nothing." I really realized most marketers and self-help people do good, but they're not for me. When you rise above self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, to listening to your own intuition, imagination, you liberate yourself from yourself. And that's the way it is. And I get a kick out of business coaches. They talk about culture and talk about this, but they don't understand the working people. The working people have a culture. And if you took management away and let them handle it, most things would get done. Management sometimes is the biggest hindrance in everything. Sometimes the workers are the biggest hindrance. Pick me, I've been there. But the thing is, if you think you're better than somebody, and you think because you got a college degree or you're this or that, you're going to splat on your face. Because one thing you want to understand, when you think you're better and do something unsavory to somebody, well, karma's going to come back and something unsavory is going to happen to you. And a lot of times when you're down and out and have to reach for a hand, that person you screwed over is the hand you reach for. So something I really expanded into, everybody is my equal as long as I listen. I'm never smarter than anybody, with their wisdom, has an inkling to expand me and rise me out. And if you look at the world, all the arrogance of this world hasn't moved us forward. But if you open up to understand everybody's your equal, and everybody you meet on the street has a nugget of wisdom for you to expand your life, how will you feel? And I want to thank you. I am Robert A. Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Hypno Acuity. And my website's mycowboywisdom.com. Emails Robert at mycowboywisdom.com. I don't do coaching, I do liberation, and I open you up to understand communicating with you. When you can communicate with yourself, you can communicate with everybody. And I want to thank you and good day.